Hey, welcome to the Payments Ecosystem podcast. This is where we delve into the world of digital transactions and the innovations shaping the future of payments. I'm your host, Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay, and today we're joined by Ting Wang and Kaushik Das from Cashfree Payments. They'll be sharing their expertise on pioneering the online payments ecosystem, discussing cross border payments and the evolving BFSI landscape in India. And they'll also reveal how cash-free payment stays ahead with cutting-edge solutions. Let's take a break and get right into the episode. Hello, Ting. Hello, Kaushik. Welcome to the Payments Ecosystem podcast. It's so good to have you. How are you guys doing?
Hi, Shiladitya. I'm doing absolutely good. How about you?
Doing well, doing well.
Doing
I
good.
can
Yeah.
see, I can see. Like we were talking earlier, you guys are absolutely pro podcasters. You're, ready to have this conversation. We've of course been doing this with a lot of your colleagues, and the series has been, I would say, really well received. When there's so much information about what it is like at cash free, and of course the payments ecosystem overall. So thank you for doing this, and I'm going to jump right in and maybe ask you first thing.
Yeah.
You've been part of the cash free ecosystem and in payments for some time. uh, what can you tell us about what attracted you towards the company, and a little bit of background, maybe what you were doing before
Yeah.
this?
Sure. Sure. Yeah, I've been with Cashfree for more than 3 years now. Um, if I think back then, what attracted me was the vision the co-founders had for cross-border. And even back in the beginning of 2020, the co-founders wanted to build a solution for all the international brands to come to India, and also make it more convenient for Indian exporters and freelancers to get a payment from outside very easy. And that's still the same vision we are working on. And yeah, before joining Cashfree, I was working with a US e-commerce company for cross-border e-commerce that was a strong focus on physical goods import from international brands to India. And then I moved from e-commerce to payment, still cross-border, still excited about cross-border. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Same question to you, Kaushik. I think you've also been, been part of the payments sector for a long time. I guess. What brought you to Cash Free, and what was your journey like?
So this is my so to very honest to speak, this is my second stint to Castry. It's not the first stint. So first I joined up
Right.
the year back. So when I joined because only for the reason for the vision for the founders. So I was just having a normal chat with them, and that attracted me a lot. So I'm in the payments for a long time. In payments only, I'm there for the last 16, 17 years. So I've seen the journey
Nice.
of multiple companies. So that is the main point when I came. And after that, I took a short break because the products were undermade. I took a break at that point of time.
Mhm.
And then 6 months back, I joined back again when the founders called me and said, "We are ready to sell in the market." So after all, without the product, we are just like an office boy. So we had it and
Right.
joined. Uh, Cashfree as a company always try to do something different in the market, which is a very unique point of the cash free, which may be a very small part of the context, but it's a very unique point. That is the most important thing which drags every day to come to the office. Very true to speak.
Mhm.
Uh,
Mhm.
about my journey in the past, yes, it's a long journey. Started my payments journey with ICICI Bank, then First Data, then Razorpay, Citrus Pay, Setu. So has been a long journey.
Nice.
So in multiple companies.
Nice. Since you mentioned that, Kaushik, maybe I can ask you a little bit more. Having seen so much of the payment space, and you mentioned a few names, so you've been in core, I would say, at a bank, right? And then you've been part
Yes.
of these fintech firms, and now you're part of Cashfree, of course. Again, like in your second stint, which is a, uh, platform player, I would say, in fintech, right? So, What is your
Yes.
view on the payment sector overall? Like, there's so much happening. There's so many tracks that different companies are building. Uh, Over the stages of your career, what have been these sort of opportunities that you saw in each that you chose to, let's say, move from one to the other?
Uh, to speak about, yes, my journey started with the bank. So, and I started in the payments in the bank only. So, in bank also, I was doing a
Right.
payments tool. I was an acquiring team. So, I have started seen the journey from that your dumbbell side POS machine to a sleek
Hmm.
POS machine, a handy POS machine, offline to online payments, the shift of the business from the offline mode to the online mode. Online mode may have seen the dependency on cards, shifting the dependency on the cards to the new age payments like UPI.
Hmm.
Uh, this then there was a in between a phase came where the wallets was a very popular accepted
Yes.
phase. Then it get shifted to the that also got shifted to the UPI mode. Seen the journey for the entire all. And if you say that the opportunities, yes, uh, every new day. So one interesting thing used to be told by one of my seniors in the past that who are you competition while I was at the previous company. Well, in one of the previous company, he used to say that my competition is cash. Only 5% of the
Mm.
total space of the country is in online. So my competition cannot be any company, and that's where the word opportunity lies.
Right.
So UPI has been a journey. Now it is catering to 40% of the total payment system of the India.
Yeah.
Pay later and the BNPL, which evolved only 3 years back, now has been one of the very crucial mode. There are many companies who are surviving on that because that is getting adopted by the customers in a big way because it is saving them big time on the easy flow of the cash or storing of the cash.
Right.
So the payment system has evolved. I've seen that, and the opportunity lies there in every step whenever it grows.
Nice. Nice. I mean, this is exactly why it makes this sector and this whole ecosystem so exciting. I believe. I think it's
Yes.
we are going through these phases, and at every phase, there's so much opportunity. Maybe coming back to you, Ting, you've been here 3 years. You've also seen a lot of the recent sort of formative stages of cash free, especially, and then of course the ecosystem at large. Uh, you know, Tell us a little bit of what you've seen change, and what has been this. And maybe, like you said, you mentioned cross border is your area of focus. So, what has what happened in these last 3 years? These 3 years were a very interesting 3 years, especially for all sorts of payment technologies, I guess. But what have you seen that's been really interesting and changing?
Yeah, I think like Kaushik mentioned, in domestic market, the UPI was picking up, buy now pay later was evolving. In the meantime, at cross border side, it's a very critical 3 years. We have seen that we started with very basic flow of trade-based payment only, and then we moved to remittance as well. So I have seen the from 0 to 1 process that that was amazing, like what we have built, and now we can solve many different use case. And there in the meantime, the study about the regulations and the study about how to digitalize the process of cross-border transaction, completely make it online, saving the effort of going to the bank and then submit all the papers. All these changes, yeah, I've seen in the last 3 years. Yeah.
Wow, and all of this is, of course, looking at payments, the payments ecosystem here in India.
Yeah.
Given your global experience,
Yeah.
seeing what you've seen in China,
Yeah.
you have obviously a broader experience of how different countries adopt payments. I know India has been a
Yeah.
little bit of a unique story. We've touched upon
Yes.
that in every
Yeah.
conversation we've had. Uh,
Yeah.
what can you share some interesting anecdotes or references of how you saw things evolve there and now you're seeing that here?
Yeah. Definitely. So I think back in 2016, what I've seen that the QR code was everywhere in China. At that time,
Right.
when I was back in China, I don't need to carry a wallet. And then I have experienced the whole process in India again. Like
Right.
even now, like I don't think people need to carry a wallet anymore in India. And the QR, how did it started here, and how did actually now if I look at China and India, UPI is actually maybe one step forward. Like
Right.
the way people are paying with UPI, and it's more efficient cutting off the wallet part, right? So that I'm saying that's a bit different with China. And also with back I think around 2018, 2019, WeChat and Alipay was going
Hmm.
international, and now I've seen that UPI is going international. These are
Yes.
all very similar things. Yes, I think, yeah.
That's so amazing. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
on one hand, we obviously think India has been unique in the way we have grown the payment ecosystem. A lot of things are probably very unique to India, to especially compared to global, let's say, Western
Yeah.
approaches to
Yes. Yeah.
payments. But of course, China has definitely been there and done a lot of the things we are doing. So it's great to see the same
Yeah.
adoption or that
Yes.
same sort of journey play out with a few differences, of course. Uh,
Yes.
Yeah, it's
you
true
know,
that when any concept come, it comes somewhere in the world. It's true, but
yeah,
the way India defined it and the way India adopted it and Indianized it is the correct word to say.
yes,
It's a
yes,
very perfect way of doing. For example, the UPI, the way the UPI journey started and to the UPI Lite and UPI in the cross border now, that's a very
right.
big scope which India has created. So
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that was and I think we took our time with it. Also, it was not that we launched everything at once. I think the
yes,
UPI rails, were were really tested well with the increasing volumes domestically,
yes,
and now once we have started to open the gates to cross border. It's all the more going to, get popular. But since we're on that topic, Kaushik, what is so interesting about this space now? Like when you look at cross border payments, right? it has it's actually been one of those problem areas in payments overall, which have always been painful, if I may say so. uh, there's some lack of clarity, lack of transparency when it comes to exchange rates always. And I'm just talking as a layman. For businesses, it's probably even more complicated. So what is how why do you think now is the time to sort of solve this? And can you talk through about what are the top, let's say, top challenges for businesses that you guys are solving? So if you want to go first, Kaushik.
my experience in the cross-border need, actually how the need came is that I was dealing mainly for the BFSI market. In the
Right.
BFSI market is a very regulated segment where cards cannot be used, and there was a problem where Indian customers were not being able to invest abroad, and the abroad customers were not being able to invest in India. When
Right.
these came, there are some small banks which came in the picture, which came in the solutioning way, give some hacked method there, which actually instead of solving the pain point of the customers or solving the pain point of the merchants, it increased the inefficiency level, uncertainty level. Fund definitely will get crossed or not, will come or
Hmm.
not. All this uncertainty came, and that space has become a very big. Now a Indian customer wants to invest in a stock in the Nasdaq. He wants a very clean platform, very efficient platform. That is not in India at present. We are the
Yeah.
first one in fact to start to have it, you can say, formatted. I will not say the word digitalized, but formatted in a very proper handy way.
Hmm.
Then the cross-border need has came where the educational loans has to be transferred across the country from abroad to
Yes.
India, in the India to abroad. Then the cross-border came in case of the travel. So travel means the payments across the globe used to happen in the cards where you absolutely told there was no clarity on the interchange and the markup. The major
Right.
percentage, 4%, 4.5% markup used to be charged for every money which used to be interchanged. And
Yeah.
ultimately the customer was paying very high, and there was a big issue of chargeback.
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's a card payment and the foreign countries are blocking the funds. Cross border, the need is actually came from these three sectors the most, as per my journey to these cross border payments. And nobody in the country was able to regulate it or format it and present it in a ease way to the customer. Customer को क्या चाहिए? He wants an ease of payments, ease of acceptance. That's where Cashfree came in the picture. And with the help of the team, his ideas, his vision there, it is now in a very clean way, very proper way, and very approachable way. Because in some of the meetings, me and Ting's team has went, Ting has also went. It is really appreciated by the customer the way we build the product there.
Mhm.
So that ease, that comfort, the presentness, the proper clean stage by stage clarity that was not there in the when the international payment was happening there. From there, the need of the cross border came, and that is properly addressed.
Nice. Think how can going into a little
Yeah.
more detail here. Yeah, what exactly is this? Is the
Okay.
solution?
Got it.
For
Yeah.
folks who
Yes.
can understand
Yeah.
and listening to this
Got it. Yeah.
podcast.
Yes. Just to add what Kaushik was saying that, and also to answer your question about why now is a good time to make these solutions, right? I think with the support of RBI in 2021, we were part of the RBI's sandbox test, right, for cross-border payment. And the flow we have tested during the cohort was that we opened the UPI as a payment mode, net banking as a payment mode for customer to invest in foreign stocks. So I'll just give you a brief about current flow. So currently, if you want to buy a stock like Apple stock, then you need to go to bank, or you need to link your bank account on a trading platform, or you need to open a new bank account just for this purpose, right? So what
Right.
Cashfree's solution is that you don't need to do any of these things. You just make a normal UPI transaction, just like any UPI transaction you are doing right now for domestic purchase. And then you just need to upload your bank statement, and that's it. We will take care of the rest of the remittance part. And also for the merchant, this is for the end customer. And for the merchant side, right now what merchant need to do, or like a trading platform need to do, is that they need to settle the fund for each remitter as a swift wire to the broker outside of India. That means if today you have 1000 investors from India, then you make 1000 this swift wire to for the
Wow.
settlement. But with Cashfree, you just need to make one settlement, one swift wire. That's the value we are adding here. Okay. Yeah, and yes, this is specific to investment use case, and we feel that this is the flow also tested during the RBI cohort, and then after that we successfully exited the cohort. So I think the support from regulators, that is giving us the good timing to go live with this kind of product. I think that's what we're looking at. Yeah.
And this is of course the investment use case, which is of course a very very popular one, increasingly so because people
Yeah.
see a lot of opportunities outside. But what has been happening before, and I think Kaushik, you touched upon this, even the sending money abroad or remittance from getting money into India. Uh, these problems are still there. In fact, the RBI, while obviously working with companies like yourself and creating the right way to do things, also has sometimes created, I would say, hurdles for common people, right? I think there's also this whole TCS angle now that's come in. People are talking about uh, how do you see this? How do you? I know that this is all regulation for a reason, but how do you guys approach problems when when these such things come about? I know what's the approach you take.
I'm not aware of this TCS problem at all. TCS problem I'm hearing for the first time because I'm not typically from the cross border, the facilitating that.
Sure.
So I'm not
Yeah.
aware of that. But yes, from the regulation aspect, if you say, yes, some regulations, some rules which are being mandated by RBI is a hurdle in the cross border also, uh, documentation wise, for
Right.
for the customers, which actually, if you see, we explain to the merchants in this way, it's not a hurdle, it's a regulator need which will make you be more, uh, what I will say, problem free in the future from the tax and all these things.
Correct.
So
Correct.
on that aspect, we address it in that way. But yes, I accept that it could have been more streamlined. But
Right.
broader than this, I think Ting will be able to explain that.
Yes, yeah, good, yeah. So, I feel the what how we are trying to do is that we digitalize the process, and resolve these hurdles through technology. Let's say, for example, RBI has put a rule about for each remittance, the source of fund need to be verified. We need to make
Right.
sure the money coming from the remitter's own bank account. So for that, we have third-party verification as a technology, so that we are 100% sure the money is only from the account the remitter declared, not even from his own other account. Forget about
Right.
other people's account. Yeah, that's how we resolve it through technology. And then about this all this KYC verification, we have our again verification suite to help the merchant or the authorized dealers to verify the PAN number, to the Aadhaar, the address, all these things we can resolve with technology. And since we cannot resolve with technology like you mentioned, TCS,
Yeah.
when it's a yeah, RBI is rule or the government's rule to increase to 20%, there may be limited things we can do, but at least we can make sure that all the taxes are collected at the moment they make this transaction. We can reduce the manual effort of the banks. Suppose a transaction happened but TCS was not collected, then again they need to go back to the end customer and collect the TCS, then process the remittance. Instead of this
Mm.
back and forth, we just make sure that 100% for sure TCS is collected. Yeah,
All right. Yeah, I mean, and that's of course that's the advantage technology helps
yeah,
you with, I guess. And in payments, I've seen sometimes just being faster, or sometimes, but just being more transparent, or just by providing better clarity of information itself is a big level up.
yes,
When it comes
yeah.
to
Yes.
facilitating payments. So I
Yes,
guess that's exactly
and
how.
yeah, we have seen that this kind of solution with technology is appreciated by different players in the market. Let's say travel agents or DMCs outside of
Yeah.
India. They actually appreciate there is someone like Cashfree who can manage it end to end and making sure it's a long-term solution and it's a compliant solution. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Switching gears a little bit,
Mm,
from the serious cross-border talk and regulation
mm,
talk, uh, both of you, like we've heard, have been part of this ecosystem. But if I ask you on a personal note, right, what do you think about when you're not thinking about, let's say, solving the world's payments problems, or solving cross-border payments, or anything like that? If you were not in this industry, have you ever thought of an alternate universe where you would be doing something else? uh, and maybe you can go first, Kaushik, as well, if you're, I can see you smiling there.
It's a very critical question. Okay. If you say what I do when I'm not thinking about job, I typically like spending time with my daughter. That's one of my most
Lovely.
favorite hobby for the last 8 years. I read books a lot. Currently, I'm reading a book, Kite Runner. It's an
Oh.
interesting book by Khaled Hosseini. I read books. I read books on the travel. I actually, beyond the time I'm in the office or in the office job, I don't think about the job. I
Mhm.
have been taught by somebody for the think of the switch on and switch off, and which is very helpful for me. I'm following that
Mhm.
very true. And if I'm not in this payments, what would have been done? Uh, I'm not saying I'm in the payments. I'm a hunter. I am in the sales profession. So I started
Mhm.
my life in the sales. Uh, I love communications. So if I am not in the payments job, I would have been in the sales job somewhere. If I
Okay.
I would have not been in the sales job, then I would have been something in the communication job where I can speak, where I can talk to somebody. So that's a
Mm-hmm.
part of my system where if I don't talk to somebody, I can't stay. So communication is a job I would have done if I'm not in the job line at all, sales job
Maybe
at
you
all.
would have been a podcaster then. It's
I don't know,
possible.
maybe a podcaster or a communicator or
Yeah.
a new word which floats in the market as a क्या बोलता है? I forgot the word name
Co-
where you
Content
talk to the
creator
people.
or
No, no, no.
uh,
Motivator, you can say. New words.
motivator, of course. Of
So
course.
that type of communication is actually my passion, you can say.
Lovely, lovely. Maybe the next series you can host it, Kaushik. I definitely
I
you
love
have
to
my
do
vote.
it. I lovely, I
Awesome,
love to do
awesome,
it.
awesome. Think what about yourself? Have you ever thought of
Yeah.
doing anything else?
Yes, I think similar to Kaushik, off work time, I spend time with my son, and different with Kaushik, I do try very hard to switch off so that I don't think
Mhm.
about work things. I spend quality time with him, and I feel if I'm not in payment, maybe actually even before I had my son, I always loved interact with kids. If not in payment, maybe I would I would love to do something about with kids, like design the toys or like more know more about the psychology of the kid and to understand
Wow,
their world better. Yeah.
wow, that's nice. And do you also have any favorite books or movies, or you don't find the time for that?
Recently, I don't find the time for that, but I do listen to podcast. I love the podcaster from the Ken. I think that's a very good way to know more about the Indian startup ecosystem and overall about Indian culture and all this. Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah,
That's right. Oh,
mm,
that's great. I was going to fish for your favorite podcast, so you answered it
yeah,
already there.
yeah,
And Kaushik, I guess you will start one, so
yeah,
we will hope to see that. Uh, but coming back, both of you mentioned that you switch off or you try to switch off, and it's great that that's something which is obviously so needed in uh, the hustle sort of life that I think most professionals have, especially given how startups are. But talking about the culture of work itself at Cashfree, maybe because this is also something I've heard a lot from your colleagues. Uh, what makes you, you know, what makes you feel that this is the place you're at the right place? If I can ask you about how the culture is, how accepting is it of what is expected of you from a work ethic standpoint, or anything you want to share about what makes you be here. Maybe Kaushik, you've been part of the early Cash Free, and then you sort of saw a little bit more of the fintech India startup space, and then came back. So what can you tell us about culture at Cash Free?
Uh, One of the most crucial thing on the cash free, maybe in the past state or now state, is that here there is a freeness, there is an openness. You have an issue, you can cross the table and talk to somebody and have it addressed. He may be a founder also. Many times it happened to me. I went up to the resource room to ask for silly questions, which actually is not being able to be addressed by somebody. So there is nothing like here that you have to maintain a hierarchy and you have to go through a channel and you have to talk to the channel head. That freeness, openness. Second, cash free as a company is very open to accept any new concept or the new views, new ideas. Uh, these are the very unique things in the fintech market. So I worked in the fintechs. I know that fintechs means there has to be something unique. They will do with something new, but they fear to hear something new. They think that I am being or I am understanding or I can do in anything which is uh, crucial or needed at that point of time. Not open for
Mhm.
any new ideas or the advice, which is opposite in cash. This is actually very uniqueness of cash free, which I personally want to speak it out very loud.
That's very good to hear. And again, I've heard this from your other colleagues as well. So it's absolutely something that resonates, and that's something which is very fundamental to the success. I would also say that the company's had. Ting, what about you? I mean, what's the best thing you've seen in these 3 years that you've been here, and
Um,
how would you define it?
Yeah, on the similar line, I feel the openness and the respect to diversity. If you see me as a female foreigner, yeah, and
Yeah.
the trust the team is giving, right? So that's the best thing I love here. Open for new idea, like Kaushik mentioned. There is no restriction from the company. If you're up to the work, and if you are capable, then you will get what you want to manage. And the team, the support from different teams, things are moving pretty fast. I've seen, compared with other companies I worked with, that's something which is amazing. I feel in India, and the whole team is moving to the same direction in a very fast pace. That's what I love. Yeah.
If you wanted to send a message to someone who's looking at joining, or interested in being a part of this of the company as well, what would you say is that one thing they should bring to the table? Like, what's the quality that someone needs to have to really become a part of this ecosystem?
I would say it's the ownership. Like we need someone who is very clear about what they want to own. Only after you have a clear idea of and you're responsible enough to own the business, own the idea, then all the other qualities will come with that, the bias for action, and then this support from others. Like the system is open, but you need to be clear what you want to own. Yeah.
Kaushik, do you want to add to that? Any learnings, anything that you think
Yes,
someone should have?
openness is a thing which someone should come. For, if I refer somebody, I will tell come with an open mind. The most important quality I think which he or she should have before coming is a collaborative attitude. If we can collaborate with the teams, things will not move. So that's the more important thing. And the most important thing which he should bring is his freshness.
Hmm.
You come with the fresh ideas, you come with the fresh innovations. We are there to materialize it.
Interesting. And this is all obviously in the context of where the company is headed, where the payments ecosystem overall is headed.
Yes.
It's an exciting time. It has been an exciting time for a few years now, I would say, but there's still so much more to be done. There's still so much to be solved. Uh, you know, in closing, sort of remarks from both of you, what would you say is the thing you're looking forward to when in fintech? What is the future? And why do you think this is the right why do you still continue to believe there's so much opportunity left? I'd love to hear from both of you if you want to continue, Kaushik.
So, whatever we are getting in the current time now, it's fintech. So, without the fintech, we cannot get the proper things in the proper way. So, if I say that, for example, take the example, a loan processing. Loan processing a year back was costing about 1,000 rupee. So people with a need of 5,000 rupee loan was never getting approved by the bank. Now,
Yeah.
with the digitalization of the entire process, starting from KYC to bank statement, the check, the CIBIL, it has came down to 40-50 rupees. And a guy who is approaching for a loan of 50 rupees, it is economical and doable for the bank or the financial institution to approve. And this is only possible because of the fintechs. Government will
Yeah.
not come and do
Yeah.
all these things. So
Yeah.
fintechs is the future. So any new thing which is needed there to lower the cost, to get the easiness, to get the smoothness of the thing to be done, fintech has to come in the picture. And for
Right.
that reason, fintechs is the future for anything which is new, innovative innovation for the coming years.
Wonderful. So well said. Ting, do you want to add uh,
Yeah.
in
I
your
think
perspective?
Yes, I think maybe specific to cross border, what I would um, love to do is that, making cross border transactions even smoother. Right now, there are like many company made in India, and these companies are looking forward to sell to the global market. They are going global, but as a fintech, we want to go local for them. We want to make
Hmm.
the payment collection outside of India as easy as payment collection in India. We want to make it instant, make it seamless. That is what I'm looking forward, and that's what I feel. Why I feel that fintech is important here. And then in the opposite way, we want to ease the life of anyone who want to make a payment to international schools, hotels, or international brands they love. So that's yeah, that's where I feel fintech will be playing a very important role to make this process easy and simple for everyone.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, both of
Mm.
you, for sharing that. I think absolutely every time I speak to someone from the payments ecosystem, or and especially cash free, of course, I think I learn a new perspective of why payments is so exciting. I mean, there's so much to solve in each of these tracks. Uh, Whether it's e-commerce, whether it's small loans, whether it's insurance, whether it's cross border, of course, like we spoke today, each of these tracks are very deep. They're not simple, but with technology the goal is to make them seamless and make them as common as cash was, I guess, a long
Mm.
long time ago now, I think. So
Yeah.
yes, thank you so much for sharing, Ting, Kaushik. It was wonderful talking to you both. As always it is to speak with folks from cash free. Thank you so much for sharing your views on the culture, on the landscape that you work on. It was lovely hearing these views, and I hope everyone listening in, of course, is further inspired to continue down whatever path they're taking in the payments ecosystem. And if that leads to cash free, I think you've definitely motivated them to take the next step, and maybe come on board. So thank
Yeah.
you both once
Thank
again
you.
for this
Yeah.
lovely
Thank you.
Thanks,
conversation.
Shiladitya. Thanks to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, perfect. That was a
Yeah.
great, smooth recording with no tech hitches, nothing whatsoever. You
Yeah.
can stop your local, uh,
Okay.
and it went really great. It was perfect. It was, I think, I hardly had to look at the scripts. I hope you guys were
Yeah,
comfortable throughout.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
absolutely.
great.